Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Now drop the anchor and grab some grog. Way ho, the sea of souls. We'll make a new entry in the captain's log. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls. Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Whispers in the window are angry waves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Down to the mists as the ocean slaves. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Now drop the anchor and grab some grog. Way ho, the sea of souls. We'll make a new entry in the captain's log. Way ho, the sea of souls. Hey ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Oh, way ho, the sea of souls. Way ho, the sea of souls. Oyster sails round the eddies and shoals. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Hey ho, it's the sea of souls. Sea of souls.
And you're live. Go for it.
Hello, welcome to the Sea of Souls, episode 3. Sorry for the bit of a delay. We were having some technical difficulties because what fun would it be if everything worked properly when you expect it to every time? There's always something a little bit different. But nonetheless, we are live. Thank you for tuning in, those of you who are joining us live. We are continuing our Sea of Souls adventure a week early this time, just because of some schedule issues. We had to kind of bump our schedule around a little bit, but it's all good. And in a few weeks, we'll kind of switch back to our regular once every other week. But for now, we are playing, and I don't know. I'm happy about that. I wish I could play all the time, but life and schedules and stuff.
Life,
right? All right. Just doing a quick wrap up of our previous episode. The Intrepid Devil, with our crew, arrived at the port of the Ivory Spire in the Isle of Morn with their rushed delivery of many cases of iron, which were to be used by the Ivory Spire for something. I'm not entirely sure. While in port, the crew was given a different type of job, one that Captain Boone doesn't normally partake in, but was somewhat of a pressing issue. And so the Ivory Spire, specifically the Department of Acquisitions, has requested that a shipwreck, a shipment that was on its way to the Ivory Spire, be located and a particular chest retrieved. And the ship was believed to have sunk south of the island in the archipelago. I'm going to say that differently every week just to see if anybody catches it. And where the shallows are, lots of ships tend to run aground there or find their demise. And so that was believed to be the last known location. Our ship set sail south, encountered some rather large birds called rockbeaks, who, after one was taken out rather swiftly, set their sights on the ship, but were managed to be taken care of. And afterwards, the crew made its way to the shallows, disembarked on a couple of rowboats, heading into where the ship was believed to have sank. And they found some shipwrecks and what appeared to be ancient ruins as well, below the water. And just as they had begun to explore, Torque the Turtle had dived under the water to begin exploring, and heard a voice in his head that he believed to be that of the goddess Desfuna. Above the water, wind had picked up, carrying with it a sense of dread, and Desfuna as well. And then suddenly the wind stopped. The ground beneath the water shook, and a shockwave rippled out from the center of the ruins. And that is where we pick up our adventure this week. Gentlemen, Torque, as you gaze upon the underwater ruins and watched as this area near the center of the ruins you saw some bubbles kind of coming up out of the sand, and that shockwave kind of echoed out from there. The wind above has gone still, and everything is silent. And now there's just that kind of moment of eerie, unnatural calm. What would you like to do?
Torque is going to turn back and look at Talen's fish familiar. And he's not going to attempt to say anything, because I think he realizes that if Torque tried to say anything underwater, it would just be a mouthful of bubbles. So he's just going to give a nod and a look to sort of just signal proceed with caution.
Okay.
As he is going to slowly, because I don't have a swim speed yet, move 15 feet and just continue to scan the area, looking for the chest in question.
Okay. Give me a perception check as you begin to move closer into the ruins.
Could Talon the tuna give me advantage, or with the help action, or what do you think?
I would say on this, probably not.
Fair enough.
Just at the moment, yeah.
It's kind of difficult for me to point out what I'm seeing, if anything.
Yeah.
We're starting early tonight.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
3. Yeah, you're a little bit thrown off. Not entirely sure what you're looking for. That shockwave did kind of send a little bit of sand and silt, kind of spreading around the ocean floor here in the ruins as well, obscuring some revision here and there. It does look like the majority of the most recent shipwreck appears to be sort of down, kind of in this direction.
Sorry, did you ping? I didn't see anything.
I did. Sorry. Yeah. Are you catching that there?
I'm not seeing it. If you hold down shift and then ping.
Yeah, it should be moving you there.
What layer are you on?
Oh, there we go. That time it worked. Okay.
Now we see it.
So southeast.
So that is where you'd seen the mast sticking up out of the water, and you can see for underwater here, not quite exactly as shown on the map here, but you can see the large remnants of a ship, planks. What looks to be part of a berth of a ship as well that's kind of sticking up out of the rocks. So that appears to be the most recent wreck. There are a number of wrecks that you can see around here, but that appears to be the one in question.
And how tall are these walls in the ruins?
The walls themselves are only sticking up about maximum like 5 feet kind of out of the sand. You can definitely tell that the bottoms of the walls go much deeper. That a lot of it is kind of covered by sand, and you can just see the tops of the walls.
I think after doing his little survey, Torque is going to come back up to the surface where the boats are.
Okay.
And just sort of, climb back in and just say, take us further south.
You're the man, Big D. You're on ore detail, ain't you?
Yeah, all right. Assuming the boat in front of us moves, I'll start paddling us forward.
Okay. So where exactly do you want to head to?
I want to head towards the southeast.
Yeah.
After the bubbles that came up near the center, though, I am going to just sort of advise that we take like a long way around, just to sort of avoid directly passing over where I saw that happen.
Okay.
Did we see what caused the bubbles?
We did not.
You have not seen anything yet that would indicate what the cause of the bubbles was.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna kind of move you guys over like so there. Okay. Talon, is your fish still swimming about underwater?
I will stuff him back in the waistcoat.
Okay. Dinar.
Yeah.
Make a perception check for me, please.
Okay. I'm not great at this. Ooh, but a 19 is good. 19 plus 1.
You, even though the wind has stopped, you can still, listening carefully, you can kind of hear that sort of whispering sound that you heard before, that had kind of accompanied on the wind, and what had kind of given you that little bit of a chill and had given you the idea of the name Desfuna. And so it's still there, although it's really quiet, and it just kind of every now and then you just hear this little kind of like these disembodied voices just floating around. It's kind of hard to really pinpoint where they are, but they're there, ever present.
Anybody else hearing those creepy whispers? I feel like we're being watched.
Well, of course, because it wouldn't be a proper voyage if things were to go normally, would it?
This is a sacred place. Let us finish our business here quickly.
Well, it's about to get a lot more holy, if that's what you mean.
I'm with the little guy. Let's get this job done and get the hell out of here. It's giving me the willies.
All right. So you guys continue to kind of make your way sort of in the general direction of where Torque had pointed, where you can still kind of see the mast sticking out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess so.
To sort of avoid that center area.
Okay. All right. Where see if I can give you guys control of this. Here, if I give I think I can give the boat control to you guys. All right. Any of you guys any of you can control the boat now, so you should be able to kind of just move that.
Man overboard.
And move yourselves where you want to be.
Yeah, the boat layer. I seem to be the only one on top of the boat layer. Everybody else is under it.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tark and Tayland are swimming under the boat.
If you just right-click the boat and then select move to back, that
Yeah,
should.
yep, I got it. I'm on it. Okay, there we go. Just needed to give me a second there. Okay. All right, so you guys have control.
That's my thinking.
Yeah, that's probably the safest way to go about it.
Just kind of moor it by this rock here.
Yep.
Okay.
And once we've reached that position, Torque is going to climb back out and sink back into the water again.
Okay.
I think Flick is going to hop onto this little island here and just sort of take a look in the direction where we saw the bubbles and the waves and just sort of see if I can spot anything in the water there.
Sure. That makes sense. All right, Flick, go ahead and give me perception. Torque, if you're kind of looking down onto the water as well, you could do the same.
Perception.
Looking in the other direction there.
Hatcha!
Nice.
I wasted all my good rolls last week. Had some really good rolls last week.
Cha.
Hey, there you go. You guys
Oh my
are
goodness.
Match.
I
for
see
that.
exactly the same amount of nothing as you.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Don't you have advantage on perception checks or something like that, or is it just expertise?
Me? No, I can do them quickly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Flick, kind of looking towards the middle of the middle-ish area of these ruins, where Torque kind of said the bubbles coming up. The water is very, very still, and that's unusual. The wind has completely died. There is no wind anywhere around you at this point, and the water is just calm and flat and still, not so much as a ripple breaking the surface. It's you've seen this on smaller bodies of water. We get that kind of glassy lake surface, but for the sea, and especially in a normally sort of tumultuous place in the sea, it is very unusual. But you see nothing. There's no sounds. There's no movement. It's just still. Torque, looking below now at the majority of the wrecked ship, you just see incredible amount of damage. And though you don't immediately see your quarry, what you're looking for, a chest of any sort, even just your general kind of, glance about, you just see signs that this ship perhaps suffered an unnatural sinking. This wasn't just running aground. You see signs of incredible amounts of damage to the sides of parts of the ship that still remain intact. For the most part, you can see big areas that have just been, almost looks like they've been crushed and hit and battered about, and there's just shards and pieces of wood just scattered everywhere. It would have taken one heck of a beating for a ship to end up in this condition.
Again, Torque doesn't really swim so much as he just sort of like tromps along the ocean floor.
I love it.
But like, at the end of every Godzilla movie when he just sort of walks into the ocean.
Men, take a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just gonna move in 15 feet closer, and he's gonna just begin, with his big claws, just literally just like pulling apart the flotsam, like pulling up the boards of the ship's deck and stuff, just kind of looking for the chest inside anywhere.
Okay. Tayland and Dinar, what are you guys doing at this point while this is happening?
I wouldn't mind getting my fish back out and going to assist Torque just in case something weird happens.
Okay, important question. When you put him back into your coat, was that you dismissing the spell, or did you just have a live fish just in your pocket?
No, I did dismiss him. Yes.
Okay. I think Dinar is well. Technical question about the boats. Do we have any way to attach them to these islands? Like, do we have an amount of rope on these boats, or?
Yeah, you've got a little bit of rope. The boats come equipped with like a small anchor, so there's probably a way you could kind of throw the rope up, onto the rope and onto the rock. Sorry.
Okay, in that case, then yeah. While Tayland is pulling out his familiar, Dinar is gonna throw his anchor up on the rock and go to join Flick up there.
Okay.
It's too quiet up here, man. Flick is gonna start just using minor illusion to add some background noise. I have a little white noise here. So it sounds like someone making ocean crashing noises with their mouth, but so it's whoosh, whoosh.
Flick, I'm actually trying to keep my focus on those bubbles, that thing in the center of this area here. So maybe the ocean sound's not the best idea right now.
All right, your funeral, man.
Well, my concern is that if you keep the ocean sounds up, it will be our funeral. Because we might not see something coming.
Fair point. I will be a little more attentive then, shall we say.
Even if you just did it a little bit quieter, that would be fine. That's acceptable.
Comes in your ear. Ha! Ha! Caca! The soothing sounds of the ocean.
Yeah.
Seagull in your ear. Torque, go ahead and give me an investigation check as you begin to rummage and sift through.
Can I do this as a strength investigation check? I'm just kidding. I'm just fooling. I got an 11.
11. Okay. You begin to work your way through. It takes a little bit of time, but you start moving aside some of the larger pieces of rubble, which you have a pretty decent time doing. Just the size of your claws and sort of your raw strikes, being able to kind of get in and just, you can see part of what looks like the rib, bottom part of this galleon ribbing that you managed to just kind of like move aside. You're like, well, that's chest isn't going to be in there, so I can move that aside. As you are disturbing the wreck, the ruin here, you notice kind of just off to the side one direction and then off another direction, just bubbles. Just a few. And then it's quiet again.
Or
Kalen,
just-
through your fish, you easily see these. So just since everything's so still, it's hard to miss these sudden just little fountain of bubbles coming up.
Torque is just gonna draw his new trident that he has, and just with a weapon in hand now, he's just gonna kind of like, like almost like a pitchfork pitching hay. He's just gonna like start stabbing the trident into the ship, and just like pry beams loose and stuff. Just 'cause
Nice.
He doesn't want to be unarmed in case anything comes.
Okay. It's like underwater farm scene, just
Yeah, like he's just literally just like getting the points of the trident between like the boards of the ship and just like literally just prying it open.
okay. Noted. Fleck, as you've been seeing sort of this calm now, again, because of the stillness, it's hard to miss as first over kind of up to the left and then kind of straight ahead to the right as well, you see just bubbles just breaking the surface. A couple here, a couple there.
I'm gonna find a nice sized rock. You know, not quite baseball size, maybe a little smaller, somewhere between baseball and golf ball. Just chuck it towards the bubbles.
Just like most of the rock you're standing on, it's like kind of pieces of shale that you pick up, right? Like,
Oh, skipping rock's even better. Yeah.
yeah.
I'll totally do that. I'll skip one across. Add some texture to this little scene.
Okay. Are you attempting to hit a specific spot, or are you just kind of?
I'm sort of going towards the bubbles and not, I'm aiming for them.
Okay.
If it happens to hit them, great. I bet I'm not going to be too heartbroken if I don't. But
I kind of like the idea of this being like a sleight of hand,
I'm all for it.
because like it's the quick hand movement, right? To make it like
For sure.
To make it
You know, you
skip
need
as opposed to sploosh.
exactly. You need that flick of the wrist to make it work perfectly.
Ooh.
Hey,
There we go. With
he's back.
deft skill and lots of practice, flicks the shell. And it just like you start counting 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 skips as it, and then just kind of plunks into the water.
Most impressive.
After a moment, a bigger bubble kind of comes and breaks the surface.
Flick, what have you done?
I've antagonized the sea gods. No, I skipped a damn rock across this thing, and there's more bubbles now. So if there's someone under there, maybe I ticked them off a little.
Okay,
Let's
Flick,
see
I
if
just
can tick them off.
I have a technical question for you.
Mm.
I know that sometimes people of your stature maybe use that to your advantage in combat. If I was to change your size, would that hinder you or help you?
Mechanically, what does it do?
It makes you you would be a small creature,
I'm small and making
so
medium.
it would make you medium, yeah.
I tend to rely more on my nimbleness than my brute force, as you may imagine. So, save the embiggening for Torque, maybe.
Okay.
Thanks for the offer, though, man.
I just want to make sure I'm not shooting myself in the foot if I make you bigger and make you less useful. That doesn't help me.
I mean, more flick is always great, but
You would think so, yes. Unless that just makes your ocean sounds louder, then it's a problem.
Now it's an
Mildly
albatross. It's an albatross now. Torque, as you are prying away at the wood of the wreck here, you now see the rubble and the ruin just kind of ahead of you start to shift. Bubbles starts to move this pile kind of being pushed up from below. It looks like something is displacing this from beneath as bits of wood and mixed in with some of the rock of the sea floor, mixed in with what appears to be old stone tiling from the ruins. These multiple items just start to kind of shift and fall aside. And you see this tiny purple shape just snake-like kind of poke its head out, just waving, almost like it's feeling the water, looking around.
Orc is gonna take a step the hell back.
I'm guessing I can see that too through the fish eyes.
You can.
Okay.
When you look through the fish, is it all like a fisheye lens? Like, do you see it with that weird distortion, or?
I'm sure it's not great.
Probably not. In the boat, Talon's going like, speaking of in the boat, though, Talon, with your eyes elsewhere focused through the fish, you do feel as the boat shifts a little bit, as if by a wave, and just kind of off to the side, you can just hear like a breaking of bubbles on the surface very close by.
As a fish, I will turn to Torque and try to do some kind of fish charades, like what's
that,
going
lassie?
on? What are we doing?
So there's some sort of tentacle in the ship, and there's other bubbles rising up around.
There are bubbles rising up around the boat the Talon is currently in that have enough to have displaced the water. And in the shipwrecked area, you see this pile that has kind of been displaced, and just like the tiniest little tip of this strange purple snake-like figure entity is just kind of just poking through.
Okay, well, if the bubbles are converging on Talon's ship, Torque is going to move up over onto that boat to try and stop whatever's happening from happening.
Okay. Talon, are you still looking through your...
I will follow Torque as a fish until we get to the boat, upon which I then plan to rescind back to my own senses.
Okay. Flick it roughly the spot where you had thrown the rock that had sunk, and the bubble had come up. You see now the water churning a little bit, and the surface being as still as it is, you can actually see through fairly well at this point, as whereas before kind of the sun glinting off the water had obstructed your vision a little bit. Now you can kind of just see through the depths a little bit, and you see a large snake-like appendage moving its way towards the surface of the water. And as it breaks, it continues to rise and rise and rise until you see a massive tentacle now sticking up about good 10 feet above the surface of the water. And you can just see as it gets wider as its base as it goes down into the depths below, and just...
I think I know what happened to the ship. What the hell is that?
Do I see that as well?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to. It's hard to miss a.
I just making sure.
Hard to miss a giant purple tentacle sticking 10 feet out of the water. So yeah, you can see it.
Talon, you might want to come back to your senses.
Orc is gonna like pull himself up onto shore, and then he's gonna reach over and just like grab Talon by like the scruff of his shirt, and then pull him onto the rock as well.
Okay, yeah, I will resume to myself and immediately go for the pistol and the rapier. Okay, that's new.
By the shipwreck, Torque, where you'd seen that little tip of a tentacle first peer up, the rest of it now comes bursting out of the water. Same thing, a second one, rising 10, 15 feet up, even this one just looming above, just kind of almost like searching, looking, sensing, not moving towards you at all, just kind of waving around in the air, looking about.
Well, Dinar, got any marine stories to help us in this situation?
Plenty. None of them are going to help us right now, though.
Then you don't.
No, I suppose I don't.
Just making-
Also, we don't have time for stories right now.
I was just trying to be clever in a way to see if you knew anything about these tentacles.
Does Dinar know anything about these tentacles?
Give me a nature check.
Okay. Ooh, I'm not bad at nature. I am today, though. That's an 8 plus 3.
8 plus 3.
Yeah. 11.
I mean, there are several things in the sea that have tentacles. Of course, an octopus would come to mind. This seemingly too large to be an octopus.
Mm.
Squid have sort of tentacle-like appendages. As for the specifics, tentacles that are this large, you have no idea.
What do you guys think? Is this like 2 big things or 1 really big thing?
I'm really
honest,
hoping it's just 2.
I'd rather not find out if we have the chance. Me and Torque, we didn't really see what we were looking for before we had to get back up here. But
You hadn't yet, no.
No, but that one over there is right by where Torque was rummaging around in the shipwreck. This one in front of us is where Flick just tried to skip a rock. I almost wonder if this thing is sensing us in the water, and the fact that we're on the rock right now is not... It can't see us. Which leaves us stranded, if that's the case.
Talon,
Yeah.
the boat kind of moves a little bit. As you look over your shoulder, you see a third one now.
Yep, we're going on the rock there.
Looking about.
Okay.
They don't seem to be making any moves at you at the moment. Just sensing, probing, gently swaying in the air, in the water.
Hey, Flick, you got any more of those rocks?
Absolutely. Where do you want it?
Why don't you try to put it between the 2 that appeared first?
Like over this way?
Yeah, somewhere out there. See if they react.
All right. Evo. Hecha.
Ooh.
Okay, again, picking up a nice, smooth piece of shell, just whipping it out, and it kind of skips across the water, almost like just smooth as anything, barely leaving any trace of ripples, until it finally comes to a stop and just sinks in. And you watch the 2 tentacles kind of on either side of that spot just... They don't move towards it, but the tips kind of move in that direction. And then the one furthest away from you up here, almost, you don't see eyes, but it seems to turn and look at the rock with the 4 of you on it. Kind of moving, almost like a snake.
Well, that's certainly unsettling.
Perhaps
And then you watch as it
Oh,
sinks
no.
below the water and out of sight.
Well, we could test the water theory. I have some power over the sea, as it were.
What do you have in mind?
Perhaps I could manipulate the water to move of its own volition and see if we can attract it in a different direction.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Worth a shot, I suppose, yes?
I can add some appropriate ocean sounds to that, because I've been practicing.
Yeah, maybe not quite necessary, Flick. We can talk about Foley work for some of my performances.
That would work well.
Eyes, heave ho, as the ship was rent and fell. Eddies in the water headed to the mouth of hell. I will shape water to create an image of Flick making ocean sounds. About here. Just a little bit above that, the wall to the northeast.
Okay.
Okay.
You see the tentacle off towards the main area of the shipwreck. Just kind of look in that direction. And with lightning speed and impressive reach from where it seems to be anchored, or at least situated, lashes out, and you now see the girth of this thing is just massive, like one big long arm that whips out and whips at the water in that spot and creates a big splash around. The water around you starts to churn and bubble. Seems you have awoken the interest of something or several somethings.
Well, there you are, Flick.
And it's probably time to roll initiative.
I mean, we could attempt diplomacy.
We have so much in common.
Yeah, all we gotta do is just figure out what the tentacle wants.
I really like the water. You really like the water.
So what do we got here? I feel like we got a 16. Torque, we got a
Ooh.
10. Ooh. Dinar, what do we got?
14.
14. All right. Let's properly set the mood.
Oh boy.
All right. The tentacle that had kind of lashed out towards the water shape kind of moves back and just looms and starts to kind of just tilt towards the rock that you are all situated on. The one further to the south of you here, they definitely seem to be aware of your presence. Whether or not they were before or whether the water was drawing them, it's hard to say, but there is an awareness that they seem to have. And this one, seeing you torque or tailing the story, almost as if it's kind of sensing that you're the one manipulating the water, reaches way up out of the water and then just comes slapping at you again with lightning speed. Does a 12 hit?
A 12 does not.
You manage to just kind of jump out of the way as this thing hits the rock.
You got
And
that right.
you see some of the shale actually like break off of this large like flat surface that you're sitting on, and it snakes back. Another one looms up out of the water. Flick coming towards you again with that lightning whip. 16.
Not gonna do it.
All right. You as well manage to jump back as it hits the rock. The one that had disappeared under the water appears to come closer now. They seem to be mobile.
Oh.
And it's going to lash out towards you, Flick, as well. For an 8.
Yeah, I saw that one coming.
All right. They don't seem to be able to get a grip on you. You guys managed to just kind of dodge out of the way of these big tentacled appendages slashing down at you. And Flick, it is your turn.
Well,
Oops, that was supposed to be on loop. Let's start that again here. There you go.
I guess since this one's closest, I will pull out my dagger. So pull a dagger out of my boot. So I toss it and chuck a dagger at it.
Okay. That's this one.
Yeah. There.
Okay.
This guy.
Yep.
Thrown dagger. Here we go. Pow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right.
Nicely done.
And then I hold my hand out and boop, dagger appears in my hand. And then as a bonus action, I recall my bonded weapon to my hand.
Nifty.
And I'm done.
All right. You can see a nice gaping slash along the side of the tentacle where you cut it open. And you can see this sort of black ichor seeping down the side of it now.
Hey, fellas, I think I ticked this one off.
Dinar.
All right. Well, none of them are close enough, and unfortunately, Dinar has not. Well, actually, have we slept since we arrived in the port?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I at least have that spell slot left. I did not prepare the right spells for this, I'll be honest. I have one touch spell, although I suppose I do have my firebolt. But Dinar is going to, seeing the danger that is around us, Dinar is going to draw his 2 daggers, but then kind of big inhale, and then he's going to breathe out, and using his breath weapon, his lucent breath weapon, of radiant damage to the target. Let's go with this one here that's to our west.
Okay.
The atomic breath.
Yeah, the atomic breath, that's right. So it's a 30-foot line, and it has to make a spell save, and the DC there is 13.
Okay, is that a dex?
It is a...
Charisma.
Dex save or con save?
Why am I not seeing where this is? Oh, it's determined by my draconic ancestry. So that would make it...
This is
What would that make it?
I think it's a dex save, if I'm remembering what I homebrewed it.
I'll take your
For now,
word for it.
for now,
I'm
we'll
not,
say dex
yeah, I'm not.
I'm looking at your character sheet right now, Mike, and it does say dexterity.
Okay. Yeah. So 15.
Okay,
So it saves.
it does save. On a save, the creature does take half as much damage, though, so it's 2d6 damage. So 4 and 4 is 8, so it does take 4 damage, 4 radiant damage.
Okay.
Now that's mighty impressive.
See a blast scorch mark on its side. Some of the purple skin kind of like just flaking off.
I suppose that is all that Dinar can do from here. So that'll be his turn.
Okay. Torque.
Well, now that Dinar has sufficiently angered that tentacle, he is going to interpose himself between the monster and the squishy wizard.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're absolutely right.
He's going to switch his grip on the trident so that he's just holding it one-handed.
Okay.
And here's a question. If I were to ready an action, when that tentacle attacks, does it briefly like move into our range, or is that considered like a purely ranged attack?
It is.
Would I be able to catch it while it's lashing, or would I only be able to catch it if I'm like in the token distance?
I would say because of its size, it would be feasibly big enough as it lashes in for you to try and get an attack in it. It's fairly large. It's not like trying to hit an arrow when it comes by you. It's like trying to hit a tree trunk that is coming at you. So
okay, I would like to write an
that's
action to. I would like to write an action to attempt to grapple it when it lashes out.
Going for a run.
Noted. Tayland.
I think I'll go for the same one that Flick's been going after.
Okay.
Your head be frozen to your head, your body be like a lump of lead. Ice knife.
That will hit.
Nice.
Sweet. There we go. Okay, one piercing, and it has to make a dex save, DC 12.
Fail. Very nice. All right.
As the water in the air and the moisture in the air coalesce into a little tiny shard of ice that gets sent out towards the thing and explodes.
You see as it explodes, there's like shards. You can see there's like multiple cuts and lacerations now, all along this long appendage. And again, there's that black ichor just kind of like slowly dripping in, almost like sap. It seems to have a very thick consistency to it, as opposed to like dripping like blood. It's more just kind of like very slowly oozing out as it comes down.
Aha!
All right, is that it for Tayland?
And I'll give Bardic Inspiration to Torque.
Okay.
Did you see that one, big fella?
All right. The one over by the shipwreck is going to sink back beneath the waves. The one to the south here is going to take a swipe at Tayland.
Oh yeah, that'll hit.
That's a 24. I need you to give me a strength saving throw, please.
Oh, goody.
Ooh.
All right. It wraps around you, and as opposed to kind of like bludgeoning you into the rock, it just really quickly seems to grab around your waist, and these like suckers that like an octopus just kind of grab onto you and just pulls you up, and you're now 10 feet above the sea level, just being held by this massive tentacle.
Oh boy!
Yeah, that looks fun.
All right, the one to the north here is going to go for Flick. That's a 19.
Yeah, that hits.
Make a strength saving throw, please.
Oh boy.
I'll not do this. Strength save this way. No, sir.
Pulls you up in the air. You're again. Now you're restrained, so you guys still have like your arms free and stuff. You're just kind of being held up.
Oh yeah.
As this thing is holding you up there. Yeah.
It's gonna wish it didn't do that.
All right. Torque, this one is going to go for you.
And
So-
as an 11 does not hit. As my reaction, can I make that grapple attempt?
You may.
Okay, I've got 2 questions for you, and you're free to say no if you like. First question: can I use reckless attack as a reaction attack? I'm guessing probably not.
I'm gonna say no. Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, the follow-up question does not matter. I will be adding my inspiration onto this though.
The bardic inspiration, yeah.
Oh yeah. Ooh, 24.
Wow. Yeah. It is grappled. Now, what would you like to do to it?
Well, I can't really do anything until my turn. But like as it lashes out, Torque is just gonna like grab it with his free hand, and like when you see someone playing tug of war, like with the rope, and they do that thing where they like twist the rope around the wrist, like pull it back. So he's just got the tentacle like twisted around his arm, and then like pinned under his armpit with the trident in the other hand.
Cool. I like it.
And he's just gonna turn back to Dinar and just go, save the others.
Yeah. All right.
Right, first attack on your turn. Also, this was technically an athletics check, so I think I probably wouldn't technically. It's like not to the letter of the law, but
yeah. I like the thought, but for that particular one, not so much. All right, Flick, you are being held aloft by a giant tentacle.
Well, in that case, I will stab it because it's conveniently close now. Yeah, I got this dagger out. Might as well do it. I'll tag it with a booming blade on the off chance that it wants to move.
Okay.
So here we go. Does a 12 hit?
A 12 just hits.
Nice.
That is exactly enough.
Then you can enjoy 9. Ooh, max. Not max damage. Oh. Max is 11. Jeez.
It enjoys the 9 damage.
Nice. Stab it. Yeah, that's it for me. I'm restrained. I'll just keep poking away at it.
Just gonna hang out,
Yep.
enjoying the view.
Just remember that you always have more tickles than it will.
Might have
I mean,
more than
we've only
10, you never know.
we've only seen 4 tentacles so far, so maybe this is just the elusive quadrupus.
It's one half of an octopus.
Oh my goodness.
All right, Dinar.
All right. Dinar, hearing what Torque says, is just going to nod his head. He's going to pull out a little bit of powdered iron, place it in his one hand, and start muttering his magical incantations. And as he does, the little powdered iron is going to start kind of like glowing little magical colors, and then kind of crackling in his hand. He's going to pop open a little bit, and you guys see a little illusionary version of Torque appear in his hands. And then Dinar, from that point, is going to go pull his hand back, and the image is going to blow up in his hand, and Torque is going to be enlarged from, well, if he's a medium creature?
Yeah, not
So
anymore, I'm not.
now he's a large creature. So Torque, what this does for you is it gives you advantage on strength checks, on strength saving throws, and any attacks that you make with your weapon deal an extra d4 damage.
And the Godzilla parallels just keep on coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a turtle, so I guess Gamera.
You like fasten your hold on this thing as your arms bulge even larger, and you manage to like get a better grip on it now even.
Yeah. At that, then Dinar will turn around and focus his attention probably on, let's say, Flick. Dinar has imprinted a little bit more on Flick than he has Talon so far. So Dinar will take a step towards the tentacle that has Flick, and then that'll be Dinar's turn.
Okay.
Hey D, you see what I'm doing up here? Stabby.
Torque, you are currently holding on to this monstrous appendage. What would you like to do?
Well, first things first. I think Torque is going to rage.
Hey.
Rage.
So technically, because I'm grappling that tentacle, it is within the aura, right?
Sure.
So I am going to need it to make a dexterity saving throw.
That's an 11.
That is a failure. He's going to take 3 lightning damage.
Nice.
And then while Torque has this thing grappled, he's going to pick up the, he's going to have the tray in his offhand. He's going to twirl around so he's holding with the point straight down and just into the meat of the thing. And I am going to make this a reckless attack.
Okay. You do notice that the lightning seems to have a heightened effect on this tentacle. Did not appreciate.
Oh yeah, no, I played
lightning.
Pokemon. I know Electric beats water. What's up? That's gonna be a 21 to hit,
That will hit.
and with the rage damage plus my new enlarged damage, that's only gonna be 10. But it could have been 5. So
That's true.
Yep.
10 is good.
as I'm just gonna stab this thing in straight down and then just twist the trident, twirl the spaghetti.
Okay. And black ichor just starts to kind of like very slowly, like molasses, that sap-like substance just ooze out of its wounds. You being in this close proximity to it, there's an odd stench.
God, everything in this
Ichor.
campaign smells.
Yeah. Sea of smells. I typoed it. Sea of smells, actually. But yeah. All right, Talon.
Well, this thing's about to have a bad day. So I'm assuming it's swirling me around and I'm not just being constricted, right?
It's just like it's not moving too much. It's just kind of like swaying, more or less. Yeah, it's not like flailing you.
Okay, little boy. The wind it howled and the thunder boomed. Thunder wave.
Ooh.
Nice.
Bang. So it's a DC 12 Constitution save.
Oh, yes.
We might roll bad, but the monsters roll worse.
Oh, that
all
feels
really
so
matters.
good. All right. So not only does it take the 12 thunder damage, but it would have to be knocked 10 feet away from me, and I'm not sure if I go with it or if it separates from me.
According to the rules of conditions, the grapple condition ends if an effect removes the grappled creature from the reach of the grappler or grappling effect, such as when a creature is hurled away by the thunder wave spell.
There you go.
Now it is somewhat anchored, but it does kind of move away, and the blast leaves you kind of like 10 feet above the water.
And Looney Tunes style.
So you are gonna splash down 10 feet into the water, and it's water, so it's only 10 feet. It's not going to hurt from that height. But you are suddenly submerged in water. And looking at the base of this now, it is like you just see it anchored and growing thicker and thicker and thicker as it grows down to the floor, and you can see it goes deep.
I would
very large.
I would like to swim away from it, please.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. So you don't have a swim speed, right? So half.
I do not. Okay, half speed?
Yeah.
Would I be able to swim over to this boat then and get into the
Yeah,
boat?
I mean you're only just at the surface of the water, right? Like you
Okay,
can-
yeah.
like a 10-foot dive, right? Like you don't go too deep.
Yeah.
And you managed to give me a either an athletics or an acrobatics check to try and pull yourself in.
I'll take the acrobatics. 19.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to kind of deftly kind of get over the side and roll yourself in.
Oh, I hope my powder's not wet.
Okay. Flick.
I think the tentacle went next, actually, right?
Yeah, tentacle got
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yep.
Oh, sorry. It's removed from the initiative because I can't see it. My bad.
Flick.
Yes, sir.
The tentacle that is holding you
Yes, sir.
has been kind of keeping you aloft.
Mhm.
And in the center of these ruins where the bubbles had originally kind of come up, you see now opening up from the rock, kind of just churning and breaking, the sand falling away. You can see from this height, you can see the water, and you see the water kind of start to swirl around a little bit. And as it opens up, you see teeth, lots of large teeth, and a mouth, and a hole, apparently connected in some way to these tentacles.
Hey, fellas.
Yeah, we're working on it.
And you hear from the gullet as the water starts to kind of like pour in and swirl around this thing, almost in some sort of magically fueled whirlpool. Just this kind of like deep, low, bellowing sound.
This is what we're up against at level 3.
I was just gonna say,
Level 20 is going to be a trip, man.
ayes and nays. Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay. The tentacle around you, Flick, begins to kind of tighten in and constrict. Make a strength saving throw, please.
Real good at those. Hey, I am real good at those. Yeah.
All right. You're squirming enough to kind of like get small and then kind of like position yourself, so it doesn't quite squeeze as much as you would have thought, but it does still kind of like, oh, that's not comfortable. You take 3 points of bludgeoning damage
3. I can deal with 3.
as it just kind of like starts to squish you. The tentacle starts to rise higher, carrying you 15 feet above the water now, as it seems to be leaning in towards this massive mouth.
Is it moving?
Technically not moving, it is just rising.
So it doesn't
Slightly.
trigger the booming blade?
No, it has not moved its position. It's just extending itself. It's like it's stretching up.
Just checking.
Talon, the tentacle in the water near you, comes and makes a slamming motion towards you and the boat, which you are currently lying in. And it is going to hit the boat.
Oh boy. I can fix this.
It's going to do 8 damage to the boat.
Oh. I can fix this.
So the boat does not entirely break apart, but there are some cracks now. There's water kind of like slowly seeping into this rowboat, and you got rocked quite a bit as you're just kind of like, you find yourself like this water quickly seeping into the boat now. Torque, the tentacle which you are currently grappling, is going to attempt to escape from said grapple.
All right. I contest that still, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, guess who has advantage from 2 different sources? A little bit redundant, but jeez. All right.
No.
It manages to just like kind of pull out of your grasp, and that's all it's gonna do. Flick, you now see this giant gaping maw. I get to use gaping maw. It's not a true D&D game until you get to say gaping maw.
Story.
As long as there isn't a gaping paw.
So what am I thinking here? How based on how quickly it's moving me, do I have another turn to fart around, or should I be getting out now? Is that that's what I'm.
Depends on whether it's going to like move you in or throw you in, which
It's a good point.
you're not really sure. I would say probably so. Give me an insight check. Let's do it this way.
Love to insight this. Insight's my jam.
Hey.
You get the feeling that it's probably going to throw you. You get the feeling that it's reaching up to get a good vantage with which to like kind of,
try and wriggle out now then.
chuck you into the mouth, so escaping might be a good idea. Yeah.
I will wriggle out. I'm assuming I can dex against it. Is that the
Yeah, you can use your you can use acrobatics or athletics to
acrobatics? Even better.
escape, whichever you like.
Boom. That's not very good.
That is enough, however.
Oh. Phew.
Yeah. So you do manage to kind of like drop into the water. And again, now in your vantage point in the water, you see this tentacle just going deep into the sand and the dirt. This opening, this mouth, appears to be affixed to some very large body that just goes deep below the sand.
Okay. As my free object interaction, I will actually put my weapon away.
Sure.
I'm going to want to be able to shield more than I need to do opportunity attacks. But I'm not going to move away because I don't want to give it the chance to grab me again, so I'll just stay where I am. And otherwise, I think I'm done.
Okay. Let's go to Dinar then.
You've got
Dinar's
lightning
feeling-
spells. Wait till Flint's out of the water.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. Man. I guess because I don't have much else prepared, I'm gonna have to throw a cantrip at it. So the big tentacles we're assuming are attached to the big gaping maw thing. So there doesn't seem much point. Well, maybe there's a reason to attack the tentacles. Maybe if we tick those off enough, then I suppose then he can't throw us in. All right, I'm gonna throw a firebolt. So Dinar's gonna kind of whip up a little flaming mote in his hand and throw a firebolt at the tentacle that was carrying Flick.
Okay.
That's 8 plus 5, so 13 to hit.
That will hit.
That will hit, okay.
Yes, it will.
And
That's
that
pretty
is
big.
They're not too hard to hit, yeah.
that is a D10 fire damage, which is probably not going to do a lot, but so that's 8 fire damage to that tentacle.
Okay. Kind of like Torque experienced with the lightning. As the fire blasts out and hit this, you actually hear from this gaping mouth, you hear kind of like as a big blast of scorched flesh kind of just starts to peel off of this. So that took double.
Anyone else craving calamari rings right now?
And it really did not like that.
And either way on that one.
That is good to know.
Smell of calamari puts Torque into a feeding frenzy.
Either that or it smells like burning rubber, you know. Take your pick. Is that it for Dinar?
That I guess Dinar will come over to this side if Talon should need an assist to get up on the rock quickly. So be there as a potential aid, even though his action is not readyable.
Okay,
But that'll be his turn.
awesome. Torque.
As the tentacle that he was grappling slips away, Torque motions to go attack the one that just got away from him. Then out of the corner of his eye, he looks and sees the one that's still threatening Flick. And so with a 10-foot head start, Torque has a running long jump of at least 18 feet, which should be able to put him right here, right? So he's going to just like,
because I'd say you're just you're probably about like 2 to 3 feet out of the water as well, on top of the rocks. I would say if you're trying to land, get to the water, like you've got just a little bit of clearance. So go for it.
So he is going to do a running leap, cannonball right into this tentacle. Flick, buddy, I hope you know how to surf. So, and out as he comes down, actually, do I want to land there right next to the maw? Let me just try and, okay, so Torque was here. I think he might put some distance between himself and the maw first. So that's 10. Yeah, he can technically land right here. So I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
And on the way down, as he's like cannonballing into this water, making a huge wave in the process, I assume, it's going to be a two-handed, enlarged, reckless attack, javelin strike.
I love the picture of this. It's amazing. Yeah. Totally. All right, go for it. Let him have it. Oh,
Nice.
Right,
yeah.
24 to hit.
And then some.
All right, so that's going to be 11 piercing damage. And as a bonus action, I'm going to need that tentacle to make a dexterity saving throw as electricity just surges down the trident and then down the tentacle.
16.
Okay, so he's only going to take half of this. Oh, ignore that. So it's going to be 3 lightning damage halved, rounded down to 1.
1, which will actually take the full though, because he has vulnerability to it, so we'll double it back up to 2, but
so 13 damage total.
His vulnerability. It's like Ichor just pouring out of this thing now, but the flesh is charred and scorch marked, not looking good.
You gotta imagine what this must look and feel like from Flick's perspective.
Just like Torque, who's now like
trying to swim to shore, and then just suddenly a
them.
shadow just like, you know that scene in The Iron Giant when the giant does the cannonball into the lake? Hey, Dean! Watch
All
this!
Talon.
Okay. So
There's a huge cannonball behind you.
how damaged is the boat that I'm on right now?
Taking on water fast.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you what I want to do, and you can tell me if this is possible or what I would need to do to
That's
make it
the
work.
way we D&D. That's great.
So, I would very much like to get onto the rock while taking the boat to use as a giant cover for me and Dinar because we're squishy. I am willing to use spells to manipulate water or air or a thunder wave or something.
It's probably going to be
blast it up.
necessary. You probably won't be able to hold the boat up in its current condition physically. You're looking at the boat, you're like,
Okay,
this
so
thing
it's
leaves the water, it's going to like
it's still more. Oh, is it still more boat than planks of wood, or is it mostly just planks of wood?
it's quickly becoming more planks of wood. It's less that it's just planks of wood. It's more that there's like the gaping cracks in it that the water is like quickly rushing into. The integrity of it is compromised such that if it wasn't for the buoyancy of the water, it would probably just like split in two.
Okay, so there's no point doing
wrecked.
that then.
It's
okay.
like basically this round you're looking at and you're like, I'm going to be underwater in like a couple seconds here.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure how damaged it was. So if it's that damaged though, then there's no point. All right. In which case, I am going to back up onto the rock next to Dinar.
Okay.
We going after the tentacles then? Oh jeez.
Dinar just nods.
Use the means of constriction.
These things are gonna grab me again. That's what I'm worried about. I will fire another ice knife at it. I think that's what I will do.
Nice.
Hey, 19.
Yep.
So that's
Dex
one
save.
piercing, and it needs to make a dex save. Wow, I'm really rolling this. Hey, 12
Again.
cold damage. Max
That's
cold damage.
exactly the same as last time.
Nice.
Wow. So that's 13 total damage.
Your
on that
shoes
one.
be frozen to your feet as cold descends upon you.
And you're
then
doing the
I'm
one
going
that was south of you, right? The bottom of the map there.
Yes.
Okay.
Then I'm going to back up behind Dinar with my pistol braced against his shoulder and give him a little bardic inspiration.
All right.
We've got this, buddy. Now we'll make our own war story.
Dinar just nods.
The giant gaping toothy maw. Get these all those words in one. Ooh, I love that. Kind of lets out this deep kind of screeching bellow that just kind of reverberates, and there's that kind of like, you know, when like you feel bass more than you hear it.
Yeah,
Like, you
just
guys-
right in the belly.
You kind of sense that, and underwater there's that deep like kind of like echoing boom that just reverberates out from this, to the point where rocks around you kind of start to shake, and you can see parts of the stone walls beneath you in the ruins. You know, you can see part of it collapse here. You see sort of the sand kind of shift up and churn over there. It looks like this thing, just by the sheer volume of it and its size alone, is capable of dealing some decent damage to the physical structures around you. You watch this rock over here, kind of to the north of you. Part of it, just kind of the shale, kind of cracks and breaks off. Tayland and Dinar, you see a new crack kind of form in the shale, and you realize now that the rock you're standing on, it is quite flaky, very easy to break off. It's not the hardest stuff, and you can see now where there's multiple cracks kind of forming, and it's okay for now, but it could break apart. Always fun, right? All right, this tentacle.
Rather destructive maw, isn't it?
This tentacle has had enough.
Can I make an attack of opportunity against it as it goes, or?
You may, yeah. It's like trying to
Okay.
think underneath the water.
With his enlarged size, is Torque like underwater at this point, or is it like waist deep?
Oh yeah, when you
You're in
did
the
a, you're in the shallows, but it's still a good like 10 to 12 feet. So you're kind of sitting on the bottom, kind of straddling this ruined wall. Actually, now I'd say.
Okay, I won't do anything fancy then. I'm just going to attack with the trident. The way reckless attacks work, it's in effect until the start of my next turn. So does that mean that this reaction attack will also have advantage because I made a reckless attack the last time?
I think isn't reckless attack only on your first attack?
Yeah, you can only make it on the one.
I'll just double check that. I don't distrust you.
Just go ahead and do it for now.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, for this tentacle,
Even so, it gives you advantage on all melee weapon attack rolls using strength during this turn.
During the
so
turn.
it is still technically this turn. So
Okay.
actually, it's the start of a new turn, but whatever. I'll let you do it.
I mean,
I'll allow it.
I
You know
guess
what?
none
The
of those would've
15,
hit, so.
the 15 would have hit anyways. So,
Okay.
like I said, these things are pretty squishy,
I'm not. I promise not to panhandle too much in this game.
and you can see by its health bar that I've let you guys see because health bars are fun.
Yep.
So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
going to be another 9.
So you just
piercing
like
damage.
jam your trident into it and actually like tear the top of this tentacle off, as you just kind of like the rest of it just kind of like flops.
Could I just
Grind.
rip the whole thing right out, like it's just like sushi on the end of a fork or something?
Like it's a
Not
skewer.
quite,
Like-
because you see that it is like it does still kind of like submerge underneath the water.
Okay.
Appears to be attached to something large, but the tentacle itself, for all intents and purposes, is defeated.
Bueno.
Large and gaping.
Is unable to be used any further. All right. Dinar and Talon.
I.
No. No. Just Dinar. 20. 20 hit you.
Yes, almost twice it would hit me.
Make a strength saving throw.
Okay. I've got a 0 on this, guys.
You can add a d6 to it for my bardic inspiration.
No, I'm not going to, because I only rolled a 5.
Okay.
So it just hits.
Grapples you. There we go. I can words. And pulls you up into the air. Got a firm grip around your waist now.
That's actually where I want to be. That's good.
Well, there you go.
I have one spell equipped that is a touch spell. So
Oh, I hope it's shocking grass.
it's not, unfortunately.
Talon, the other tentacle over here, makes a swipe at you.
Whoa.
And you manage to just kind of dodge out of the way. However, this is going to hit the rock.
Oh, jeez.
Damage. So you see some shale kind of break and crack apart. Flick.
Do I take any damage, Craig, from that constrict?
You do not. Nope.
Okay.
It's they seem more intent on just grabbing you guys.
Right.
They do kind of bludgeon, but I would say from seeing the large mouth appear, you gather the intent of these is to simply grab you and hold you,
Feed.
essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. Flick.
Flick, you're muted.
Sorry, the tentacles haven't been moving, right? They've just sort of come up and down, but they haven't been moving around. So my booming blade isn't really doing a hell of a lot.
You have the
Oh,
you did see one that kind of appeared in a different place. The one that was closest to you, though, it's now Kaputsky. Yeah.
Just debating whether I need to get up close. I guess there's no harm in it. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move. I'll move and dash to get to there.
Okay.
Then I will, I guess, bonus action, whip to my hand, action surge, and booming blade with the whip. Because
Okay.
that's my signature weapon. I gotta use the trademarks.
Still gotta establish that brand.
Yeah. So, 12
Fair
hit last time.
12 hits.
So, ooh.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Go. And I've already pre-rolled the booming blade damage, so if he moves, he's gonna take 6 damage.
All right.
I might as well dump my Fury of the Small into that as well, so let's throw another 3 damage on top of that.
Okay.
And then I will put my whip away with my object interaction. So I've got a hand free to cast spells if I need to. And I'm done.
All right, Dinar, being held aloft,
Being held like upside down.
kind of sideways almost. Just,
Sideways?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. I'm assuming I can.
All your
reach-
change is falling out. Oh man, there goes your cell phone.
There goes my cell phone.
Dang it.
My fantasy phone. I'm assuming I can reach the tentacle with my hands from where it's wrapping around me.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I just make sure it wasn't like grabbing me by the tail or something.
No.
All right.
Kind of around the
So
waist. Got a good hold on you.
okay. In that case, then, Dinar is going to sheath his daggers and mutter some arcane words, and his hands are going to kind of light up with a little frosty arcane magic, and he's going to use frost fingers on the creature.
Nice.
It has to make a Constitution saving throw. Has to beat a 13.
Nope.
Yes. Good. Okay. All right. So it is going to take 2d8 cold damage since it failed the save. Oh, come on. Well, I rolled a 1 and a 2, so three cold damage. And it says the cold freezes non-magical liquids in the area that aren't being worn or carried, so I don't know if that has any lasting effect on the creature, but...
A little bit of moisture that's on it starts to kind of just form like little frost crystals on it. Not enough to do any significant damage or impact, though. But...
at that point, then, I mean, besides being grappled, there's not an immediate looming threat. The maw is very far away, so that'll be Dinar's turn.
Okay. Torque.
Torque is going to move 15 feet, pull himself up out of the water and back onto the rapidly deteriorating shale.
Mm-hmm.
How big you are.
As a free action, he's just going to drop the trident momentarily, just stick it right into the shale.
You drop the trident? You drop the trident?
Hmm?
You said you dropped the trident?
Yeah.
So as soon as your hand comes off of it, it shrinks down to normal size.
All right. And he is going to unclasp one of his hand axes, this like naval style sort of boarding axe. And assuming that I've got the range increments correctly, he's going to attempt to throw it at the tentacle that's grappling with Dinar.
Okay, so that'll be... It's a 20...
It's 35 feet away. I'm going to make it
So
a reckless
within your-
attack to cancel out the disadvantage.
Okay, all right. Good. Yeah, that'll hit.
So that's going to be 12 slashing damage.
Ooh.
Nicely done.
Nicely done.
Unfortunately, I can't use my bonus action this turn because nothing's in range.
Dinar, you feel this like shudder go up through the tentacle as this axe just like slices a big gaping wound along one side of it. Thankfully not too close to where it's holding you. That would have gone through me. Alright. It's like a turbine blade the size of it right now. Being thrown by Torque in large stacks.
I tried to get like a good sort of horizontal top spin on it, like I'm throwing a discus.
Technical
Nice.
question, Craig. Might need a mulligan here. The enlarge spell is concentration. Does the grapple on me require me to roll a concentration check?
Hasn't done any damage on you.
That's what I figured, but I just wanted to make sure I wasn't breaking the rules.
Oh.
Okay.
You have not taken any damage from it, so you're okay. For now.
We'll see.
Talon.
The cracks in the shale, is there water in those cracks?
Give me a perception check.
Perception. 23.
A little bit.
Okay.
More like what's being splashed in as opposed... It doesn't look like it's leaking,
Sure, yeah.
but it looks like just
it's
water
like
that's been
covered in
splashed.
water,
It's kind of like, yeah.
Okay. Is it... How structurally stable does it look?
Based on your 23 perception, probably another... Probably like a couple more, like 2 or 3 good whacks or rumbles would probably cause this entire shale island that you're on to crumble apart.
Okay. I will chance that it will remain fine for one more round. And I'm going to take a shot at the tentacle housing Donar.
Okay.
Yep, Donar.
Put down, my friend.
21.
Nice.
You guys are rolling well in your attack. Even though it's only got like a 12 AC, you guys are
And
rolling
not
nice.
great on the damage.
Our damage is so low, though. We're all
Mhm,
it's 2 piercing damage.
Yeah. Chance to hit high. Damage output low.
Okay.
And I will throw my last Bardic Inspiration at Flick.
Okay.
Hooray!
We got this one. You take care of that one.
You got it, Skipper.
All right. The beast lying beneath the ruins, seemingly occupying this entire area, once again lets out this rippling, echoing bellow. Tailend and Torque, you see the rock beneath you and crack. You watch as more of this other one up here, a good chunk of it kind of breaks off, and you understand now. You know, even Torque, as you were kind of digging around below, and you saw these big chunks of shale kind of around, that, you know, there probably were more of these islands, these little rock islands in this area, and they've all been broken apart slowly by this entity. The one beneath your feet is quickly deteriorating and becoming less and less stable. All right. Dinar, make a strength saving throw for me, please.
I'm great at these guys.
Hmm.
This is where I lose my concentration. Oh, wow. That's a 2. No bonuses.
You take 7 points of bludgeoning damage as
Okay.
this Dow does start to constrict and tighten on you.
Okay. And what do I... forgive me.
Concentration save, you have to hit at least a 10.
A 10, yeah.
At least a 10, okay. Whew. 11.
Okay.
It was almost a 13, and then it rolled to 11. But, yes, 11.
Orc remains biggened.
That's good.
A second thing happens, Dinar,
Mm-hmm.
which begins to worry you as the tentacle begins to pull you down
Oh, crap.
as it moves closer to the surface of the water. You're now just, like, part of you is kind of like in the water as the top of this thing is curled about and seems to be sucking you under.
Hmm.
This was a sea dragon, right?
Yes.
Lick.
I will get the whip back out. And
No, does a 17 hit you?
for you.
Okay.
Gonna-
Make a strength saving throw for me, please.
17 missed.
17 misses. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Sorry. Kind of surprising dexterity. The tip of it kind of whips down at the water, trying to grab you, and you manage to just like kind of duck and like just shimmy out of the way.
Shield
As it-
comes up and blocks it. I'm swimming with my shield on. Somehow.
All right. Now it is your turn.
Now, okay, so bonus action whips back out. Booming blade.
Whip it good.
20 up.
Yep.
Ooh. That's
Sip.
a spicy whip.
And then I will put the whip back away. It's like I'm just cycling through this thing. I'm just begging him to move. And I'm done.
Okay. Dinar, you are grappled. You were being pulled beneath the water.
All right. Realizing that I'm being pulled under, and even though I'm an amazing dragon, I can't breathe underwater. Dinar is going to. I'm assuming I can just drop concentration on Torque in a moment like in an instant?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything required for that.
All right, so I will drop concentration on my enlarge for torque. Again, grabbing a little powdered iron in between the
Torque's
hands.
Aww.
Powdered iron starts to kind of glow. Image of Dinar comes into his hands, and instead of going like this, Dinar is going to bring his hands together. I'm going to reduce my size to smaller in an attempt to break free of this grapple.
Hey.
Oh. I like this thinking.
So trying to break free of the grapple if I can, and then swimming as fast as possible away in my tiny form.
So you become small.
I become small.
You're one size down.
So I'm now flick-sized.
I will say, yeah, I'll let you break the grapple at that, because it's effectively, you now become smaller than the area that is restricting you, and it's like
That's
so
the goal, yeah.
You kind of slip out of its hold and plunk into the water.
Okay, and then
Because I like that. I like that creative use. That is intelligent.
That's pretty much why I wanted to take it. I wanted to make torque big and myself smaller. So then at that rate, then Dinar will use the rest of his ability, or the rest of his move, to swim back towards the rock that Tayland and Torque are both on.
So you're at half speed.
Half speed, so I can move 15.
You do not have your swim speed, yeah.
No, so 5, 10, 15. I get to there. And I will maintain concentration. I'll remain this size.
Like a shiny iguana right now.
Yeah. Shiny iguana with a blue robe on.
Moving through the water.
But yeah, that'll be Dinar's turn. He's done.
I love it. Torque, you are now normal sized for Torque.
As a free object interaction, he's gonna pull the trident back out of the shale again. Talon, how much do you weigh?
Well, not that much. I try to look after myself.
And this shale is cracking under our feet, and it looks like it's going to give it any moment.
Yeah.
I am going to make,
especially if it gets hit again.
We have to give this thing an OSHA violation.
I'm going to make a special grapple attack against Talon.
Talon, are you willing to allow yourself to be grabbed by Torque?
I am always willing to be given a hug.
All right, no check needed then.
And this is technically an attack, so would this count as maintaining my rage if I do it as an action? Because I'm not really communicating with him what I'm doing. I'm just kind of grabbing him roughly.
That is true. So you're, and he's willing though. So we'll forego the rule, but I'll allow it. I'll allow the action of you grabbing him in a furious rage, grabbing your friend to, I don't know, do whatever with him. Sure.
I'm literally just gonna like grab Talon and then just flip him onto my back, onto the back of my shell. And he's just going to growl, hold on and hold your breath. As I'm going to make another running leap at this tentacle that was attacking Dinar. That's 10 feet. And I can jump another 15. So 5, 10, 15. So I'm going to dive into the water. Kersploosh. And that does put the tentacle in range of my Storm Aura. So as a bonus action, I will have him make a dexterity save.
That's an 11.
That's a fail. Ignore that. I need to toggle off the enlarged damage. But he's going to take 2 lightning damage from that.
Which equals 4.
And I did make a reckless attack this round, so attacks against me will be not at advantage, which is nice.
Yeah. All right, Talon, you are suddenly underwater.
Well, there goes my pistol powder.
What's your con modifier?
Mine is 2, I believe. Yes. Okay. So I got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Underwater. What am I supposed to do underwater?
Swim? Synchronized swimming?
We'll throw another ice knife because if anything, I've got tons of material supply for that.
Yeah, no shortage. Salty ice at that too. Interesting how that works.
Now,
Ever have like sea salt ice cream?
luckily, ice knife is not my bard spell, so I don't need to be able to speak or play music to technically cast this.
There you go.
Oh no. Oh, well.
You're a little bit disoriented as you spelunk
Yeah.
into the water, and you're kind of like, "It's over there." Oh, that's the boat.
Try to get some ice. Even though it misses, though, it still has to make a dex save.
Crazy exploding. Oh.
All right, so we'll take 8 cold damage from the explosion that happens next to it.
Yep.
Nice.
Fun spell.
Nice.
That's why
Wait, so
ice
it's-
knife is nice.
All right. Yeah, it's not like that. Alright.
I literally can't do anything else because it all requires me to speak.
It's okay. I have a plan.
I assume so. Man, now my instruments are all wet.
I mean, we were gonna fall into the water the next round anyway. At least this way we have.
Yeah,
our
I've already
wits
fallen
about
in
us.
the water. At
All
least.
right.
My squeeze box.
The gaping maw creature again lets out that bellow. The ground kind of shakes as it almost seems like some of its girth underneath the seafloor kind of moves and shifts. And again, rocks and parts of the wall start to crack and break apart. The shale island doesn't completely break apart, but significant cracks and breaks in it now, where it looks like it would be hard to stand on as a level surface. More like trying to stand on, a shore that's made entirely of jagged rocks and find your balance without piercing yourself through. The tentacle that is near you guys. Yeah, it's had enough. It's gonna flee. Sink down into the water. Like this one's gonna have one more go at you.
Yeah.
17 to hit, and just less grabbing now, and you see as it just like slams the water. You can sense kind of a palpable frustration in the air as this entity reaches out to swipe at you and
Princess.
misses. So
It's okay, but I'll take care of it in just a second.
it's now your turn.
All right. Once again, bonus action whip appears in my hand. I will booming blade it. 19 to hit. Another 10 slashing damage.
Man,
And then I'll put my whip on my
Hit.
bit. And I'm done.
all right, Tiny Dinar.
Small
I think-
D.
Small D, yeah.
This boat, by the way, is now
It's now.
Yeah, I figured it was done.
All right. Dinar is going to swim over to 5, 10, and then can I use my last 5 feet of movement to get into the boat?
Yeah, give me an acrobatics or an athletics check.
Okay. I'll go athletics
Choice.
because I'm trained in that. For crying out loud! I rolled a 1.
No.
That's a 1 plus 2, so 3.
Oh, that makes no difference. You try to like scramble yourself in the boat, and you're just like, you're kind of like hanging on, like you got your, when you're trying to get in a canoe and
Yep.
it just doesn't work properly,
Yep.
and you're like trying to get trying to like get yourself like to lay over, but you just can't. So you're hanging on to the boat, the edge of it. You can't quite get yourself into it yet.
All right. From where I'm swimming though, can I still see the tentacle that Flick is engaged with?
Yeah, it's still like way up out of the water.
Still way up out of the water. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then Dinar is going to bring his free hand that is not trying to lash onto the boat, and grab a little mote of fire and then hurl it at the creature.
Sure.
Does a 15 hit?
You betcha.
Alrighty, and that does a D10 of fire damage. I'm rolling ones tonight. That's a 1 fire damage.
So 2. Lucky
2,
for you.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Man, it's hanging on. It's
Yeah.
it's like half of it's like, you know, like the chunk like taking out of it, and it's like barely like, you know, like one more hit will kind of like sever it clean.
That'll be Dinar's turn.
Right. Torque.
With 5 feet of my 15-foot movement, I'm going to swim over here.
Okay.
And then I don't know how deep the water is, but I'll just use the rest of my movement to come to the surface and just kind of like float on the surface so that Talon, who's on top of me, can breathe and speak and see and all that good
Sure.
stuff.
Okay.
And for my action to maintain my rage, I'm going to make a special shove attack against Dinar to just push him into the boat.
I like it. I like it.
You want me to roll for that, Mike?
No, Dinar's willing.
Okay.
I mean, you certainly can. You might kill me, but
So,
Give me a strength, just a straight strength check
who,
here.
me?
Yeah.
I am raging, so I think I have advantage on that.
Go for it. I just want to see how gently or forcefully. Okay.
13.
All right. Not yeah. So you
Tor just rises up out of the water.
You don't throw him like over the boat onto like the other side into the water. You get him up into there gently enough so Dinar, you're like, whoa! You just suddenly kind of feel the shove from behind it, like less lifts you into the boat and more just like forces you against the boat hard enough that you just kind of like flop into
Just
it.
flips him over. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. Not so graceful, but effective. Very nice. All right, Talon, you are now riding a Torque,
Okay.
whose back looks like the Shale Island, all broken and jagged. And
For the purposes, I know that for the purposes of flavor, I have a spell which is based off of my gun. Does wet powder affect my capability of using it as the focus for that spell, or do you care about that?
You haven't been underwater super long. You've kind of been like in and out. So I'd say at this point your product's probably okay.
Okay.
If you were like spending a significant amount of time underwater.
Sure. I just wasn't sure
but-
for how much we're tying the spells together, because I could technically just cast the spell as is. But
I like narrative. Go for it.
exactly. Yeah. All right.
Narrative is fun,
Blammo.
and you have the props. So I mean,
Well, power of props.
Shame.
Ow, 10. It's a bit wet after all.
it wet after all. Yeah. It's a bit of a like a. The shot is more kind of like a.
Yeah.
All right. Somewhat losing interest in its current attempt at a meal, not going so well. The giant mouth of this creature starts to kind of sink back beneath the waves. The water that it had kind of swirled around it now comes kind of rushing into that spot, creating a bit of a momentary wave towards it as you're all kind of moved from that, and it just kind of sinks back in. You see like stone and sand shifting again as it moves. and disappears back beneath. The tentacle likewise is going to attempt to withdraw into the depths.
Okay.
Like you may take in Oh yes, that's right.
Takes 1 thunder damage, and I will attack of opportunity as well.
The 1 thunder damage is like.
Yeah. So,
Oh.
so my weapon's put away, so this is unarmed strike. This is not that's good, but hey, I still hit.
That hits.
Punch it for max damage.
And it has
Nice.
2 hit points left, so that
Ooh.
spree will literally do it, bring it down to a -1
Wow.
or 0. But I'm just,
For
on my
flavor, can we
screen
say
here,
that he
it's-
just grabs the tentacle and just like bites through it? Just.
well, like I said, right? There's that like just hanging on barely, right? There's like
Yeah.
just that little bit, and as it tries to retreat, yeah, Flick just goes, just like gnaws it.
Needy little goblin teeth.
That's
All right. And for our purposes for the moment, then the sea goes still once more. The wind returns. Light breeze. And kind of looking around. No tentacles breaking the surface, nor breaking through the sand on the sea floor. No rumblings, no bubbles. Whatever this immense entity is, seems to have retreated for the time being.
I say we loot that ship and get the hell out of here.
agreed. As a doggy paddling back over to the island, or what's left of it.
Torque, as his rage begins to subside, you see this electricity that was surging all over his body just begins to gradually die down. And he's just going to move up to the side of the ship and just kind of, as gently as possible, just like put Talon in there, and then make his way back to start making his way back to the ship.
Okay. With some experience now with these giant tentacles, you can now see the evidence of their damage on the remains of the ship below, making it pretty clear that this ship likely ran afoul of the rocks, perhaps some of the ruins that were sticking out of the water, and as it got slowed down, was then hammered and assaulted by whatever this thing is as well, sealing its fate, as it were.
Now, knowing that that creature was down there, I'm supposing we don't see any bodies, any skeletons or anything around.
Give me a perception check
Okay.
or
I doubt it
investigation.
would've-
If you want to start digging specifically, you can investigate. But if you're just taking a general look around, you can make a perception check for me.
I
Yeah,
would've left that
Dinar's
much
just I
behind.
mean, Dinar's just gonna look around. I'll just do perception.
While everything is going on,
It's a 10 total.
I would like to begin to cast shape water to 1, animate the water into the shape of a boat, and then 2, freeze it.
Okay. You make a nice boat.
We've patched a red, stopped events, dog captain
Which-
portal down.
You can already see. I mean, it'll last a little bit.
Yeah,
But you are in a tropical.
mechanically it'll last 1 hour, so I imagine it's going to be a bit dodgy. But
you already see like there's like that condensation as it starts to melt. You're like, oh right, tropics. Okay.
yeah. if we had wood pulp, I could make this last for a long time.
Dinar, you don't see any signs of bodies or skeletons anywhere.
Okay.
As I'm paddling over to rejoin the group, I'll also use my second wind to regain
Okay.
a whole bunch of hit points.
Nice. Torque, you're going back to rummaging.
Yeah. I'm hoping that all the ruckus has made the interior of the ship a little bit more visible. He's going to keep the trident in hand just in case.
Okay. Give me an investigation check. I'm gonna give you advantage because now you know
What
the
to be
cause of
afraid
the
of.
damage, and things have been loosened up a little bit. So go ahead and have advantage on this one.
17.
17. Okay.
It's respectable.
You find what appears to be the remains of the cargo hold of this ship, and you do indeed find a smuggler's hold that has been broken open, and amidst some of the crates, most of them have been broken. You can see broken bottles here and there, which is possibly some of the cargo. You can see some torn and waterlogged canvas as well. You do see barrels of gunpowder that have been just waterlogged and soggy and broken open, kind of, trailing out here and there. But as you do dig, you catch a very ornate looking chest, and it has a bit of a glint of sort of a shiny metallic to it. And as you look a little bit closer, you remember the symbol that you were told, the seal of the Grand Library of Sagruna. And you do indeed find this chest. It's fairly large. Probably a good 2 feet in width, and another good 2 feet in depth as well, foot wide. And you do see the seal of the Grand Library on it. This does appear to be the chest that you were sent to find, and it is intact and it is sealed.
Orc is gonna swim on back from the perspective of the others. They're gonna see the chest get fired up first as he just hucks it onto the deck of the ship, and then pull himself up.
You'll
Second.
see Talon just currently singing Mary Ellen Carter while mending planks of wood onto his already melting ice frame.
It's like a kid making a boat out of stuff, but it's with magic and ice and
cables to her for an aft and
I made a boat. All right. As Torque brings out this very ornate looking chest, it appears to be very sturdy. Dinar, you can see elements of kind of arcane runes etched along the edges of it, and having grown up in fairly close proximity to Sagruna as a Dragonborn, you would know enough of its reputation as a place of great arcane study and learning, that it makes sense to see something coming from this establishment having runes etched into it along with the sigil itself. It is a very nice looking chest.
Mm. Seeing the chest and the need to communicate this, Dinar is going to pull out his decanter of endless water. Although he has to speak a word to it to make it do something, doesn't he?
What do you want to do?
Well, it's all right. No. Dinar's going to grab a little bit of the water from outside the boat. Just take a little sip of it. Just
salt water?
Yeah. Trying to soothe the vocal cords a little bit.
Do some gargling.
Yeah.
And then he's going to speak the word stream into the decanter of endless water and take a nice big gulp of it. Sorry. When I do that with my breath, kind of wrecks the vocal cords there. This
I understand entirely.
Good.
I imagine that kind of tingles a little bit on the way through.
Tingles is not the right word, but yes, it leaves me a little bit of discomfort.
It is quite a sight to behold, though, I'll tell you that.
I should hope so, although normally it's more effective than that. Listen, this chest, there is something really important arcanely about this chest. Do you guys want me to detect magic?
I mean, it is your thing.
It is.
You might as well. I'm still going to need some more time before I'm finished patching this thing up.
It just means somebody else has to row back to the boat.
Rise again, rise again.
I'm assuming that all four of us wouldn't fit in one of the launches. That's why we're.
That's why I'm trying to make us something to use.
Fit, yes. Maneuver, not so much. Yeah.
Alright. I'm just trying to get something, like that we can at least
Are there-
float back, even if Torque has to push.
The ship is.
It's gonna be a slow go if we're using Torque's swim speed.
I can help. I can cause the currents to move with us.
I mean, the ship ain't that far away. If you want,
No.
you know, we could do it in a couple of trips with the one boat, right?
Talon just looks down at what he's made. A few boards fall off. Yeah, all right.
We'll find a bigger rock to stand on, and Torque, you can be our motorboat for a while, and ferry us back and forth.
Torque will just swim under the boat and just physically hold it together as it moves.
Dinar would like to go with the chest whenever it makes its trip.
Yeah, I say we send the chest first, and I can hang out here with Talon for a while.
And then while it's going, Dinar would like to use detect magic on it to learn a little bit more about this chest.
Okay. Torque. As your group begins to make its way back to the ship, a couple rounds retrieving this item that you were sent here to find. As you're in the water, sensing now sort of the calm of the schooner, that familiar touch of the ocean that you've come to know. You again hear that voice in your head. Tell me, lost child, what do you think of that creature? Ill? Benevolent? Speak.
Is this like in Torque's mind, or is
Yeah.
he?
Yeah, it's like a whisper in your head, like a voice speaking in your mind.
It was simply a hungry beast searching for its next meal. To find good or evil in such a creature is folly.
You assume it a beast, then? This temple was once mine. This creature is not. I bid you return here when you are able, and return to me what is mine, but in time. Can you do that?
There is still much work to be done, but I will return.
Good. I am with you, Torque Loggerhead. Be at peace. And the voice fades. Give me an insight check.
You got it, Chief. $16.
Moisture is bad for poor baby.
It was something in the way that, again, what you presume to be Despuna talked about this creature as not hers. That stands out to you. Carries a sense of unnaturalness with it. That this is no mere beast, but perhaps something else. And that it is something that defies Desfuna's care of the sea as something natural.
Copy.
It's like a rival god or something.
All right. Let's take a quick 5.
Okie dokie.
And we'll pick up with bringing the chest on board.
Okay.
Let's go
What's
to
in the
break.
box? What's in the box?
I will do what I can without killing the stream to figure out my internet. It's apparently the stream has been watchable, but yeah. But yeah,
Are we on?
That's what's important.
All right.
Greetings, wary travelers. We are Go for it.
All right, and welcome back. So we return then to the Intrepid Devil with the chest in tow, covered in arcane runes and bearing the official seal of the Grand Library of Sigruna. On the journey back, Dinar, you had been ritually preparing to detect magic.
Yep.
All right. There is definite magic present on this chest itself. You get a sense of some sort of warding magic abjuration of some sort. Definitely something meant to be protective in nature, which doesn't really surprise you.
Okay. It's got some kind of protective spell on it. Likely.
As you return to the ship, Captain Boone kind of watches as you're kind of looking over and. Oh, that's a mighty fine looking chest there.
Why, thank you.
Can't say I've ever transported something that fancy looking before.
Present company accepted, obviously.
Well, yeah, exactly. You've transported us.
All right. Settle down. All right.
Believe me, gents, this holds a different kind of significance than us. As great as we are, this has some arcane ties to it.
Hey, did you see what we just did? We fought against some horrible dark creature.
I mean, we saw from the ship here. We saw some. Those were tentacles, right? We saw some things popping up out of the water there.
Yeah. Where were all your cannons there, Captain Boone?
Well, we didn't really want to hit you.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've noticed the size of cannonballs. It's accurate for hitting ships, less accurate for hitting smaller things when ship members and crewmates are in close proximity to those things you're trying to hit.
It's all right, Captain. I just punched it to death.
It's true. He did.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah. It was quite something, actually.
So I'm assuming we understand the cause of.
I've got a
Salty
fair inkling
Sirens,
of what sank their other ship, yeah.
And all right. Well, Salty Maiden wasn't long for this world, unfortunately, but you retrieved the cargo, all right?
Second.
Yeah,
Be right
we
back.
did. Yeah.
I think it's hard to argue that this is what we've been hired to acquire, given its magnificence and wards and arcanisms.
I'm not gonna lie, gents. I kind of want to open it.
Oh, so do I. I was waiting for you to say that. Yes.
I'm
Dinar,
not.
see-
Whoa, I'm not. I didn't say we should. I'm just. Well, I'm
Yeah.
saying I kind of want to.
well,
I
hey,
can't help but be curious about what's got their britches in such a bunch over this.
think about it in terms of
your
business.
chest.
We're getting paid a lot to take it, so obviously whatever's in there is valuable. Now, it could possibly be that whatever's in there is more valuable than what we're being paid for, in which case, even trade? We did work very hard to get this chest.
Tayland,
You see
do
what you're
you
saying?
do you have the ability to dispel magical locks or traps?
That really seems like more something you would take up. Now,
Yeah,
if it
does.
was a mundane lock, I might have some skills there.
Like is already going through his pack, getting out his lockpicks.
Look, this is not locked
Ooh,
with a
is that a
key.
Richardson?
This is not locked by key, gents. I would argue that this thing is locked by magic. I don't know that we have the skill set to crack into this thing.
Well,
Also, we were not sent to retrieve the contents inside. We were sent to retrieve the chest.
Aha! I like the way you think, sir.
No, I'm not saying that we take things out and retrieve the box for them. I'm saying we're supposed to bring the whole box, contents and all, back. We don't need to open this.
What you're saying is there might be some sort of magical freshness seal on this thing that we don't want to break?
Yeah, unless you want to get zapped by whatever's protecting this chest, I wouldn't advise you go at it.
Caitlin, give me a persuasion check as you were.
It's a good thing none of us were around to see
Speaking with the
Dinar peek
captain.
into the iron boxes, because that would pretty much destroy his argument right now.
Undermine it a
That's
little
right.
bit.
That's darn right.
Like, weren't you the one that?
Wait a minute.
Give me persuasion, Caitlin.
All right. I am okay at that. Persuasion. 16.
Captain kind of thinks over for a minute. All right. Well, here's what I'm thinking. Now, I'm willing to go to bat for all of us here if we happen to open it. We can we can say about how dangerous the acquisition of said chest was, and perhaps we found it that way.
Had to make sure it was the right cargo.
I will speak to Mr. Connor and his associates on our behalf that way.
Captain, who's to say this isn't the way we found it anyway, huh?
Well, that's exactly what I was just thinking, Mr. Flick. Now, I happen to know, based on reports of those who were inspecting the ship previously upon our arrival, that our cargo was tampered with. I don't know which one of you did it. I don't really care because I was a little bit curious myself. You weren't the first that opened the crates, let me just tell you that. Serves us well sometimes. Not always. Sometimes you just want to take the shipment. But when they got you sailing right into the middle of a sea of souls, or, going right into the mouth of some tentacled beast and shipwrecks and shallows and whatnot to retrieve things, I like to know what exactly it is I'm retrieving.
It does make you wonder, doesn't it?
I suppose
So
I
I
can
take-
see what you're saying.
I take care of me and mine, as far as I'm concerned. You're all part of my ship here, and, well, what if this is some sort of evil atrocity? What if it's something that, I don't know.
Precisely my thinking, Captain. For all we know, these patrons of ours have hired us to grab something that could solidify their power, and frankly, I'm not comfortable handing something like that over. Especially to people who already have enough power as it is.
Orc, my typically silent friend, what are your thoughts on this?
I personally would much rather return the chest and be done with this whole affair. However, recent developments have piqued my curiosity as well.
Well, that settles it then. So, gents, how we gonna open this? What
Well,
what's
it's
our
very
approach
specific.
gonna be?
Inventory all the arcane writings and such on the outside.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll take a look in that big stupid book of mine, see if I can match any of that shit up, and
Sure.
yeah, we'll see if this will hurt to open in the first place.
Captain, I don't suppose you have any magical scrolls on board.
Not unless you're carrying them.
No,
That'd be a no.
I don't possess the ability to dispel magic yet. Something I'm working towards, but right now all I can do is detect it.
you know what them fancy writings there are all about?
Yeah. This spell is, or this chest is being protected. There's wards on it that are possibly protecting it from being opened by the wrong people. My concern is that if we mess with it, might give us more than a little jolt.
Fair enough. Looks like you got you said, why don't you take a look down there? You said you got some fancy book of yours.
Yep, I will do a thorough inventory of all the runes on here and compare with my notes.
Go ahead and give me a Arcana.
Dinar would like to try to look over Flick's shoulder as he's rifling through the pages to see if there's anything of interest.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let this be actually an advantage on Flick, since you are a spellcaster and perhaps you might catch something.
Ribbon from my notes. All right, with advantage, there's a 10. Hey.
Oh, a whole 10. Whoa.
Right.
Oh man.
Okay. It's hard to really get a bead on more than maybe a couple of the runes.
I can match them up, but I don't know what they mean.
Yeah, I mean you recognize a couple as, okay, yeah, that's some sort of warning. That one looks like it might be used in some sort of glyph of some sort. Dinar, you've seen some that you're like, okay, yeah, I've seen that on doors, I think, but nothing to really give you any specifics as to what specific warding might be on it.
So my mental picture of this scene: Flick is sitting cross-legged on the deck of the ship with a book in his lap, a crayon out, and a piece of paper, and he's sort of copying stuff off of the chest, and then he looks down and flips through the book to try and match it up. And his tongue out the side of his mouth the whole time, just and sort of back and forth for, he takes 5 or 10 minutes to sort of go over this thing. He's like, I got nothing more than, yeah, it's protected. Some of this stuff blows stuff up, maybe. Some of it is about protection and warning. So it's either warning other wizards not to go into this, or it's just supposed to explode if you open it. I'm not really sure.
Have we considered asking the owner what's inside?
I highly doubt they're going to divulge that information to us lowly peons.
They weren't particularly forthcoming, no.
That would also require us to bring the chest back to them, at which point we're not going to be able to view the contents.
We are going to bring it to them with the contents in it. Let me say that much. I am in the business of delivering what I've promised to deliver. Let's just make that clear. But the Ivory Spire, from what I've learned with my business with them, they're not exactly forthcoming on information that you don't need to know. I mean, it might be capable of, whetting the interest of a few here and there that might let a few things slip for the right price, but otherwise, they're pretty tight-lipped about things.
Captain, what do you know of their reputation? Are they good people, or are they kind of jerks?
It's possible to be both.
That is certainly true.
I mean,
They're it's hard to say where their moral compass points. I think, like many establishments, they've got those who have the greater good in mind, and I'm sure there are more than a few who have their own gain at the forefront of their minds.
Bailiffs are so greedy and deceiving all the serfs. So listen up and realize your better lives deserve.
And what's the payday we're getting off of this again? It was substantial, yeah?
It's
It was a lot of money, true.
It is quite a bit.
And just to be completely
more than what we got for bringing the iron to. Let me just put that out there.
So to be completely practical about this, even if we do crack this puppy open, do we have another potential buyer in mind if there was something in there that we don't want to give to the Ivory Spire? Because if there's no one else that wants this crap, then we might as well sell it to them, right?
Not necessarily.
Well, if it's something that we end up being worried about, these particular wizards getting their hand on, I do know a fella down in Porto de Arias, old wizard, good friend of mine, who might be willing to even take a look at it or safeguard it. He's a good sort, can be trusted. A little bit odd, very odd, but trustworthy nonetheless.
If it turns out to be too powerful, we can always chuck it back into that gaping maw.
Right. I personally don't want to go anywhere near that, from what you tell me, but
I'll just punch it again.
I don't know how well the punch is going to be effective against that giant maw. Just saying.
What are you thinking, Flick? Do you think you can pop this thing open?
I mean, there's no harm in trying, right? Other than, harm. But
It could be, but
yeah, I'm willing to give it a whirl if everyone's on board with this.
tell you what. Let's find one of these smaller islands here.
Oh yeah, we don't want to blow a hole in the
Let's put the chest on there instead of on the deck of my intrepid devil, which I'd like to keep afloat.
I like the way you're thinking, Captain. Forethought, that's why you're in charge around here.
Well, it's also my boat, so I mean, there's that. Well, what do you say, gents? We all in?
Let's do this.
Yeah, all right.
All right, then.
I'm eager now.
So getting a couple more of the three remaining rowboats, since you have lost one. There's plenty of small enough islands and just kind of like, again, like rocks kind of sticking out here and there. A lot of those more like shale growths. You find one that's decent enough size that you can kind of put the chest on and find some room on and sail enough away from the ship. The captain comes with you. He's definitely seems very curious about this. And as you set the box down, he kind of steps in close, looks at it one more time, kind of gives it a look over. All right, Flick.
So is there like an obvious keyhole or anything, or am I...
There is a lock on it, yeah.
Okay. Let's start there.
Can I lean over and help him, since I'm also proficient in thieves' tools?
Yes.
I've picked my share of locks.
I will, the both of you working together, combining your knowledge, I will give advantage on this.
What do you think, Flick? You think Rogerson or a Kevinson?
I got just the thing. And pull out this is a little something I made myself. And
that's lovely.
It's got a little hook at the end, and this will do the trick, promise.
I gotta get one of those. You gotta make me one of those.
Absolutely.
We're all going to die.
All right.
Yes, I'm afraid of that, Torque. I am.
The soft spoken Torque.
Definitely would be nice to have had a long rest to get my bardic inspiration back, but
All right.
we'll be fine.
Here goes. Thieves' Duels with advantage. Solid
Hey,
13.
That's not terrible.
All right. You get in there, kind of working away, and I'll say with that roll, you don't quite get the lock open at first, but you get to a spot where you can sense now that this lock is stronger than it should be mechanically. So the mechanics of the lock are like, I should be able to get this.
So
Move it to the left a little bit.
Spot and it doesn't give.
But there's something else, and putting two and two together now, you're like, okay, abjuration, warding magic, the lock is stronger than it should be. There's some sort of arcane enhancement to this lock that is making it a little bit trickier.
There's a little bit of extra mojo in here. I don't think thieves' tools on their own is going to do it. Unless we're willing to like smash the crap out of this thing, we might be.
What about a little bit of briny ocean toss?
You want to throw it back in the ocean?
No. And I'll dry my rapier and cause it to be covered in trusted corrosive salt water.
I mean,
Now it was already in the ocean, so salt water was kind of getting.
This is special, and I'm just gonna dip a little bit onto the ground and it'll sizzle.
That's
At
gross.
this point, I feel like the people who hired us to return the chest will notice that we've clearly tampered with it.
Yes, that is my
like
concern.
melting
Torque.
parts of it.
Yes.
Meanwhile, men of noble birth, they dwell in greater bound. The rest of us must suffer in
All right.
starvation that surrounds.
You hate the wizards, we get it. Anybody else got any bright ideas, or do we just
I think I'm tapped for now.
get it back, get our money, and move
I'm,
on?
I'm not willing to sacrifice the payday at this point.
Yes, let's not void the warranty.
Don't want to break the freshness seal on this bad boy. So I hit the limit, and I don't want to push it.
All right. With that, then you, I'm assuming you return back to the ship with the captain.
Mhm.
Oh, that will work. Okay, I have potentially an idea
Uh-oh.
because it's fine.
Please don't tell us you had knock this whole time.
No. So, find familiar. You can conjure them. You don't need to see where you want to conjure them. So,
You gotta conjure them in the box.
can I conjure something with dark vision into the box?
Interesting.
This is where the wards come into play, and I don't know what would or wouldn't work, right?
Interesting.
I mean, I could also do something else that I really don't want to do, but it might work. But this is a better idea.
You want to use your find familiar to have it appear inside the box.
Attempt to.
That's
I don't.
basically what I'm the gist of what I'm getting.
Yes, that is the idea in a nutshell.
All right, give me a sec here. Range is in 10 feet. No, it doesn't. Okay. Familiar must be within 100 feet of you. I'm gonna have you give me an Arcana
Oh no!
check as you try to pull this off, because you're trying to manipulate the spell and
Yeah,
a bit
I would-
beyond its.
I wouldn't expect it to to work
your typical casting, so it's not
right off the gate,
impossible.
yeah.
But
Okay. Okay.
you,
17.
A little bit of arcane inspiration, like I have an idea that just might work.
This worked back in the day when I needed to sometimes open things from the inside, or if you want to score a little bit of money from a tavern, you just and I'm going to pull out a tuft of rat hair and conjure up a rat
Okay.
inside the box. You know, sometimes you can make a little bit of coin being an exterminator.
Okay. The rat appears, and you just hear you all hear from inside the box like this, like kind of like a panic squeaking. Like
I'm going to just
where am I?
immediately
What's
throw my senses into it.
happening? Okay.
It'll have dark vision, so I'm curious to see what it sees.
With its dark vision, it's the rat is like squished, like really tight. There's not a whole lot of room in there, but it's kind of like moving around, and it's on something that feels scaly. And looking, you kind of through your senses looking at it, you don't see any color, but what you see looks similar to what Dinar's scales look like, only the actual like plates of the scars are of the scales are larger, and there's a lot of them.
In like a pile, or is it like in a shape?
Like it's like it looks like there's like
a spherical shape?
no, it's more like what's the word I'm looking for? Like cuts, like pieces, like large pieces with scales, like almost like hide sort of type,
Like
multiple, like stacked.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the scales are large
Interesting.
and definitely seem to be reptilian or draconic in some form.
Okay. I will zone out of the rat and grab the little tuft out of the side and stuff that back in. Well, gentlemen. There are large scales in this box that look a lot like the ones on you, Sir Donar.
What do you
If
say?
I were to make an educated guess, I would say these are of draconic origin.
Give me a history check.
Do, 10.
Good enough. Fairly general knowledge is that dragons have not been seen for almost 1,000 years. They're not common in this age. They're known to have existed in the past, in plenty, but they have been gone for a very, very long time.
I had the opportunity to read about dragons, but I've never actually managed to see one, other than some sketches and a few books. If that is what it is, we have a motherload of a prize on our hands, good gentlemen.
But I mean, these could have been scales harvested eons ago, couldn't
Precisely.
they? Oh, so you're not suggesting these are fresh? You're saying
Well,
this
I'm
is...
not exactly an expert on dragon anatomy. Perhaps
That's
if you were to get a
fair.
look at them, you might be able to ascertain this. But I'm telling you what I managed to see. What I managed to see is treasure beyond our wildest dreams, boys.
Well,
You're saying there's dragon scales inside that chest.
That appears to be the case. It felt like dragon scales too, or at least it felt scaly. Donar, come here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty much. Now, I can't help but question what the Ivory Spire would want with dragon scales.
Well,
Nothing altruistic, I'm sure.
what?
They are indeed mighty rare. Extremely rare. They weren't always. We used to be able to find bucket loads of them hundreds of years ago. There's a whole rush to go and find where all the dead ancient dragons were and find their lairs and collect scales. That's interesting.
Do we have any sense of what could be done with dragon scales?
Give me a just give me a straight intelligence.
Intelligence. All right.
Pick your brain. Even as far as just understanding Dragonborn and the resistances and the like that they seem to have based on their scales, you imagine that something from a true dragon could go a long way as far as crafting armor, crafting different things like that could be used for that kind of purpose. There could be other ritualistic
Yeah, I guess
uses of it as a component.
Yeah, I guess the question is whether they're going to use these scales as is, or they are a component in something bigger. Right? Are they making armor out of scales, or are they grinding up the scales to snort or pour into their magic potion, or whatever they're going to do with them? Who knows? So the question is, could we find someone who would pay us more than what we're going to be paid for this gig right now?
Oh, I should think so.
Now, I'm not saying I disagree with you, gents. I do have a reputation to keep, but I also don't like the idea of something like this being used for nefarious reasons.
Indeed.
But we would possibly be making enemies of the Ivory Spire too, which could get interesting.
Trust me, as long as we remain where we are in society, they will always be our enemy in some way or another.
Yes, but see, there's the enemy who leaves you alone and still pays you for the odd delivery. And then there's the enemy who actively seeks you out and tries to sink your ships.
Yeah, the active enemy versus the passive enemy. I'm much happier for the raging against the machine and all that for sure, but not having them torpedo our ship is also cool.
Yes, I would prefer to remain afloat.
Does the combination of the amount of iron that we were shipping and these dragon scales ping anything in my knowledge?
Give me an
Could they be used
Arcana check.
together? Arcana check, okay. I'm trained in this, guys.
Ooh, train
That
skills.
is a 13 plus 5.
Noise.
18. 18?
18. You have no idea.
I figured, but I just thought, They sent us out for two things so far: the iron and the dragon. And this
It's a good hail. It was a Hail Mary, right?
Yeah.
So.
I mean, there's an inkling in your mind where like that could be some sort of
There's probably
ritual,
something
but
you can do, yeah.
the specifics of it are beyond your grasping.
I'd imagine there's a great many things you could do with iron, dragon scales, and several other different types of objects.
It's true.
I have newt.
Yes. Ear of toad.
Well, we have a decision to make. The way I see it, we take this box as is back to Spire with the knowledge of what's inside. We get our pay. We go from there, do what we will. Or we perhaps head south to my other person of arcane means who might be willing to help us. At the moment, I'm telling you, I think it might be best we just put this in the hands who it was on its way to anyway.
Why don't we do both? Do you think maybe the knowledge that the Ivory Spire has dragon scales would be valuable to someone else, perchance?
Oh, definitely.
Knowledge is always valuable, but you have to be careful who you give it to.
Well, here's the thing. We'll give them back their box of dragon scales. We'll gladly take their money off their hands, and then we'll go find the next most interested person who wants to know that they got them, and let them know too. And take some money off of their hands.
Well,
Orga's just being quiet throughout this whole thing, but like as everyone else is talking, you could just see his eyes just kind of go back and forth between the chest and between everyone else. Just
I think we made our honest effort at being crooks here, and I think get our payday and ship out.
As much as I don't like the idea of dragon scales going to nefarious hands, I have to agree with our little goblin friend here. I don't know that we have the abilities to deal with this right now.
But we'll put a pin in this one and file it away for future follow-up.
Indeed. The other question, of course, is how did the Grand Library get its hand on dragon scales? Seeing as they're the ones who are shipping it to the Spire. Mysteries, I tell you. Well, maybe my contact in Porto Darius might be able to help us with that little bit of information as well. So we deliver this, get our payday, and we head south to the Isle of Sands and perhaps see what other information can be found out.
It's probably a wise course of action.
Oh,
I'm a wise man.
Live to fight another day, Taylor. That's always the thing.
Right. Make notes of this, my friends. Let's we'll keep this in the back of our heads. And
Hey, I made plenty of notes. And I hold up my crayon drawings again. It's like I got all this crap copied down. Don't you?
yeah, it helps if somebody other than you can understand what them scribblings are, though. But you make your notes, I'll make mine.
I've imagined this to my book, and there's definitely something happening here. So.
The first half of the book is all really intricate, very meticulous notes, and the second half is just crayon scribble.
Give me time. I'm working on it. Jeez.
All right. Well, why don't you get some rest? You guys definitely earned it with a bit of an interesting encounter out there. Also, something to take note of. Some sort of strange beast in ruins in the shallows in a major shipping lane at that. Mysteries upon mysteries.
Don't like any of this.
Nor do I.
Orc is going to stay quiet.
Well, let's go get paid.
I can drink to that, Captain.
Well, I could use a drink. Or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5.
Head down to the galley. I'll meet you there. I'll get preparations underway here. Crew raise anchor. Set course for the Ivory Spire port. We'll make our way back, and we got some time to discuss on the way if we need to. And who knows, maybe we can squeeze a little bit of information out of Mr. Connor once we get back and see what he knows. If he's willing to part with anything, that is. Or perhaps Kuna or somebody else might know something around the port there too. Word does get around.
There are a few of us we could poke and prod while you deliver the goods.
Subtly, though, we don't want to be dropping the big dragon bomb on everyone because
Indeed.
That's true.
don't want to raise too many eyebrows.
You're a good crew. I'm glad I hired you all on. All right, gents. See you for drinks shortly. Let's get underway.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Sounds good, Cap.
Camp back up to the crow's nest.
Okay. As you make your way back to the port, the Ivory Spire to deliver your sealed crate, box of dragon scales. We will call it there. But as I throw things, you can all level up to level 4.
Oh, mama.
That's
Moor upon an isle of wealthy fools and knaves.
So why don't we go ahead and roll HP.
time to make some decisions.
Boy.
And then I'll let you guys can do the rest of that, but
Am
we'll
I,
do
am I rolling or am I taking the 6? That's the question.
you can do either. Yeah, you can take the average, or you can roll for it.
I typically take the average for the first few levels just to give me a bit of a foundation.
I mean,
Good to not roll low.
I have 13 armor class, so I prefer consistency.
I got the 19 armor class, so I'm less concerned. Oh, what the hell? I will gamble this time around. I will roll my 1d10, and hey! Boom.
Now, what's your
Good
con
stuff.
modifier?
That's good
Oh,
Oh, a plus 1 on that. I get 11.
That's
Wow.
awesome. You just got max.
Wow.
There you go. That's helpful.
All
Great.
right.
Craig, you okay if I roll for real?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Real dice, man. Real
I
dice.
have a good con, so I get +3 to this regardless. So at the very least, I'm getting 4 on top of my 22 here, guys. So let's see.
Okay.
Well, I rolled a 2. So I get 5 more hit points.
Not shabby. Not too shabby.
Yep.
G Wizard is squishy.
Yep.
Yep.
27.
Devin, John, you guys rolling? Check.
I guess if everybody else is doing it.
Peer pressure.
Oh, now I'll look like a wuss if I don't. So
Oh.
Oh!
Wow.
okay, that's actually above average. I'll take that.
Yep.
You reroll. I'll let you guys reroll ones on HP. I think that's only fair. You can reroll a 1. Or is that just what did you roll?
Oh, that was just his roll 1.
It said
okay,
roll
okay.
1.
He got
I thought it was
11.
a 1 as well.
No,
All I saw was 1 at first. I'm like,
he got an 11, so
yeah,
he
there you
did
go.
well.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, going forward, if you guys roll a 1, you can reroll that because
Okay.
1 just sucked.
Yep.
We all played Baldur's Gate. We all did that.
All right. So next time we will pick it up back in the port of the Ivory Spire as you make your delivery and you're all at level 4.
Tractors are just what they are, malevolent pigs. Took of me my everything, in poverty I'm bound.
There's really no point taking Great Weapon Master until I've maxed out my strength, right? Because otherwise,
This guy.
All right, we can
What?
off stream. We can make our character.
oh, I thought the stream already ended.
No, the stream's still going.
But-
We wanted to roll on
stream.
stream so people saw that, right?
Yeah,
Spoilers.
that's right. All right, but we will end it there. So thank you for watching us, whether it's live or you're catching us on VOD, or if you're listening on podcast. We appreciate your support and joining us as we play some D&D and do nerdy things. So we will catch you next time. Until then, happy gaming. See y'all.
Release the wheel and all your sins, for you are free at last.
Yay.